It's a milestone. This would be episode 50 of Bailey's Black Cloud podcast, where it all began. Right here on the Black Cloud. That's where it all began. My name's Jason Bailey here in the Golden Scissors Studios. Beautiful Roswell, Georgia, right there. That is Nate in Mexico with the most amazing backdrop I've ever seen in my entire life of America. You've got both of your dogs, Tubbies, Tiger, who's still with us, and then Pharaoh, who left us not that long ago. And it looks like it's on a giant sheet with the Friends logo, and it says Best Friends, like Friends from the 90s logo. That's amazing. Where did you get that?
When my brother and his girlfriend came down for Christmas, they brought us this as a little Christmas present. But it's funny. I don't know if you noticed, but it says, they were a little upset. I don't think they made it right. It says Best Friend.
I love Best Friend. I love Lamp.
It still makes sense, but you think the people that made it would know, like, the show is Friends. It's not Friend.
Yeah, and there's two dogs. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
If it was just,
still works.
If it was just one dog, I could understand Best Friend. But it's, yeah.
Unless it's from one dog to the other saying one is my best friend. But yeah, but I love it. It's nice. It's a blanket.
I prefer screw ups like that. I think they're funnier because it's a conversation piece. It's a good icebreaker. That's way cool. Love it. All right. And then Brandon, who has changed up his background, just it's closer on his face. That's all it is. Still looks like he's in the nursing home, and that's the extent of it. But Brandon is kind of part of the Black Cloud today, which I'll get to here in a second. Let's start off with the Black Cloud of the Georgia-Alabama game that continues to go this week after UGA wins the national championship. If you see, like, if you go through the threads, diehard Alabama fans are making excuses. Georgia fans have made excuses since 1980. It's just how football works, especially college football. And if you're a diehard fan, it's no different than politics. You just can't admit you're fucking wrong, ever. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason. We are a country full of whiners versus just saying, hey, you know what? That was a great game, because it really was. It was a fantastic football game. It was probably one of the, if not the best, coached from both sides football game, and the effort that was put in by the players. And I don't really watch college football that much. Of course, I'm going to watch the national championship game, but knowing the game of football, you're looking at these kids out there, and they put 110%. Every single one of them. There wasn't one kid that had an ounce of quit in him. It was a great football game on both sides.
Yeah. I do have an issue with it being on Monday, though. I don't get why these championship games are on Sunday for the Super Bowl, Monday for the college championship. Can we just get a Saturday game or a Friday game even so we can sleep in the next day?
Yeah, I don't know what the reasoning is. It was just like the Super Bowl's on Sunday, and then you got to go to work. Well, some people have to go to work on Monday, but now's a little bit different, Nate. Our schedules, we can sleep as long as we want, right, Brandon? Yeah. when we're late to the recordings, what we're doing? We're just sleeping. We stayed out late. We just did not have to.
Only 10 minutes. Not too bad.
That's 10 minutes out of my life that I need back.
I'm sorry.
I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to go. So, so my point is with the Black Cloud, before I actually get to the Black Cloud this week, is that everybody's blaming one thing. It's the what if game you play. It's like, especially if you're superstitious, and diehard sports fans, definitely athletes, are superstitious people. They're playing if I wouldn't have yelled at my goldfish the other day, we would have won. And you see that, like I was reading one of the news stories threads on the post championship game, and I was like, it's a lot of this is my buddy Buck's fault, because I saw him outside and he kicked his car when he was working on it. And I told him not to do that because it's going to bring bad luck to Alabama. And this motherfucker, this Mattress Mac guy, who's always, every year in the national championship game, he's in the news. He's a Houston, he lives in Houston, right? He's a Houston furniture owner. You know what I'm talking about? Every year when we did the radio show, we'd always mention how he put a bet. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. But his name's Jim McInvall. He's Mattress Mac, owns his furniture store, blah, blah, blah. He placed, which is a smart bet, to be honest with you. If I had that kind of cash, I'd probably would have placed the bet too. A $1.5 million wager on the game, on the money line, which was plus 115 because Alabama was the underdog. they were -3. Well, they weren't. They were underdogs by 3. Let's just put it that way. So you're going to make money if it's in the plus column. Alabama's very rarely the underdog in any game. The game was, even though they were ranked 1 and Georgia was 3, both teams really equal. You know, it's just going to come out. It's just going to come down to what coach is going to outplay the other coach, and which player is going to step up, and which Georgia players did step up. Well, this guy lost, and he also, I guess, made another bet somewhere down the road. But they're saying they're hedge bets because they have to offset these possible losses on a promotion that is a furniture store offered refunds on purchases of $3,000 or more if Alabama wins. So it's called a hedge bet. He's offsetting the bets is what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's what he's smart. But you know, the people that work for him, you know, whether he's in the black or in the red, you know, let's just say he takes a hit. Because you're the owner of the store has a gambling addiction, he's going to start laying off people that have been working there for 20 years that depend on their paycheck every 2 weeks to put food on their table. And this ass jack's out there wagering almost $2 million on a college football game that he fucking lost.
And I don't get how there's so many mattress stores out there. I mean, who's buying a bed that often? I think I've bought like one in my life.
Well, you see the mattress firms. We did a bit about this on the radio show. I didn't realize it until I started endorsing them. Actually, I think this was right before I started endorsing them. The irony that there's like a mattress firm on every corner of the street, and there's a reason. Yeah. There's a reason for that because we brought it up and somebody told me, and I forgot what it was.
Yeah, are they like are they franchised or not franchised or something?
It's like, but it's not. I'm a big fan of when I drive down the street, I will plan out the places that I have to stop based off of which side of the road I'm on. And my mother ingrained that in my skull when I was younger. You know, to be like, hey, can we go over here? She's like, no, James, that's on the other side of the road. I'm like, okay, well, can you not cross lanes? I mean, what the fuck's a big deal? It costs more money in gas if you do that. We'll just wait for when we come back. Now, she was probably just being a parent and trying to avoid going to wherever place and hoping that I would forget about it. But I don't forget about anything. Even at 6 years old, I was remembering shit like that. So, anyway, my point is the mattress firms. It's like if you really need a mattress, I'm sure you'll cross lanes, right? it's like,
yeah.
Well, we missed the one on this side of the road, but on our way back, we'll hit it up. How about that? That'll work for us. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, I'm trying to read what was the issue? I'm finding there's an idea that they are laundering money. All the mattress stores. That's why there's so many. They're not actually selling mattresses.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, who am I to? I don't know. Maybe they are, but
this is just a conspiracy, I guess.
I don't think they are. Oh, the other thing with the national championship game, it's like, oh my God, what are Georgians going to talk about? Well, they're going to talk. Well, they're going to talk about the here and now, right? They have to, which is like scratches the soul of people that live in Georgia. They love to talk about back in the day. They love to talk about the highlights of their life. They love to talk about the heydays. And all Georgia had up until, Monday night was 1980. And that's all you would hear. Because, for those that listen to the show outside of Georgia, we've got the Braves, right? They're our national championship game, Atlanta United, which, is cool and it's a big deal for the soccer fans. But let's be honest, for the majority, the big four, I don't want to get into the argument about attendance and stuff like that. As far as sports in America, they're not part of the big four.
Oh, they are now. They've actually overtaken hockey. Hockey is now fifth, and soccer is 4.
So, it would be NFL, college football. It would be NBA and Major League Baseball. I wouldn't put hockey in there.
No, but college football and NFL is the same thing. It's football, the sport.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to play that, yeah.
Yeah,
sure,
if you're talking about just sport, I guess. But yeah, you're right. If you're watching championships and different levels, I guess.
But that's all. I mean, that's all you'd hear for, since I've been in this state. It's like, 1980, that was such a great year. We just always come so close. And it's like, now you've got all these old timers. They're going to be like, What the fuck, man? Now I got to talk about 2022. It fucking sucks. I'm about to die. I like to talk about 1980 versus 2022.
Maybe it's because my friends are maybe a little younger, but I would only hear the 1980 thing from Alabama fans because that was the last time they won a championship. So that was what Alabama would rub in UGA fans' face.
Well, that's all Georgia would. I mean, none of the other years counted. It was like when you get up on the national championship game, Georgia wouldn't even be in it, and they'd be like, "Hey, man, 1980, that was the best time, the best TV every time. I was watching that game right there in 1980. I'm not even going to watch tomorrow night. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my old VHS out. And I'm going to watch 1980 game, put that back on there, and watch when you."
And I've seen it on social media already, and I know probably a lot of the big UGA fans are saying to themselves, "Well, you can't make fun of us about nothing since 1980 anymore." I mean, if you've looked online, Alabama fans are already saying, "Oh, what, you won one since 1980?" So it's just going to be the number you've won since 1980 until you win more than Alabama, unfortunately.
And who was the poor guy for Georgia that was handed the wrong national championship hat? I feel so bad for that guy because I want to give him. I want to come to his defense. He's in the moment. He's emotional. Somebody hands him a hat. He's probably not looking at it. He's just putting it on his head. And it says national champions with the Alabama A. Because they have the gear for both teams, whoever wins. But some asshole gave him the wrong hat, and he's walking around on the field with the national championship Alabama hat on. Felt bad for him.
That hat should have already been on its way to Ethiopia. I don't even know why they had him out there.
To a third world country.
But when I saw that, I thought it was a Braves hat because, the Braves A or the Alabama A is just the Braves A, but it has a mullet on it. At the top, it has a little thing on the back.
Yeah. So that hat, by the way, whoever that guy was, probably worth a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
The screw up's worth a lot of money.
I saw one of Kathleen Flood, if you remember the old sales girl. She's a huge UGA fan. She was there at the game, and she posted on her social media. I don't know, she might have been just joking, but she had some of the confetti from the parade afterwards, and she's like $1,000 her best offer. So, somebody might pay for that.
So there's some girl online that was doing toot shoots in a jar selling that money. And people were buying it. I mean, who the fuck buys toot shoots in a jar? That's ridiculous. There's something I'm going to bring up on Friday's show that I had never heard of. And Nate and Brandon, you guys, if there's anybody that I would think of that had heard of this, it'd be you two, but I guarantee you haven't heard of it. It is, I'll just give you a hint. It's NFT-esque. 6 figures plus what somebody turned around and sold it for, but never in a million years would you be able to guess what the NFT was of. Does that make sense? Follow me there? Okay. So anyway, all right, let me get to this episode's Black Cloud. By the way, I hope everybody's enjoying the Freebay week. It's freebie, but we changed it to Freebay, like J-Bay. So it's the Freebay week of shows. We did that. So we hope that those that normally listen on Wednesday that aren't a 2%er, that don't subscribe, you'll enjoy what you hear, and you will go to now podcastthebs.com, and you'll get a horn in the background every time you go to the website. A horn blur goes burp, burp, like that. Burp, 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 burp. So podcastthebs.com is our new site. Nate did a tremendous job with this website, and everybody was like, where can I get some merchandise? Where can I get the Better Than Radio shirts, or Smarta Marta shirts, or Everything's Better with Fuck shirts, or Nate's Mexico Moment shirts, or One Question with Brandon, and it even has Let's Go Brandon on the shirt. Where can you get all that stuff? Well, podcastthebs.com, we have all that stuff. You can get shirts, you can get hoodies, you can get coffee mugs, you can get masks, you can get onesies, you can get phone cases, laptop cases, whatever it is that you want with our logo stuff on it, you can get. So please do it up, have at it. Thank you in advance for your purchases. Okay, so with that being said, the Black Cloud this week, I'm still struggling with trying to find a black cloud. I'm going to be honest with you. I said this in last week's show, sometime last week, that ever since I survived COVID, nothing but good things have been happening to me. And that's still been the case. I have yet to have something bad happen to me. In fact, things that would normally turn out bad for me, as forementioned last week, continue to turn out great. Just the weirdest things over and over and over and again. It's tremendous. I love this life. It's great. I think a lot of it's my headspace too and where I'm at. But I did survive COVID. And COVID is very similar to that conversation we were just having with that national championship game. You play the what if game, right? I don't know where I got it. I can assume I got it from my daughter and her friend. That's where I'm guessing I got it. But then I think that's because when I got it, who did I give it to? One would be the entire Roswell female basketball team. Not like that, but I was at the games and, I was around them and stuff like that. But there's probably a good chance that I gave it to our very own Brandon. Brandon, are you blaming me for your now COVID bout?
Part of you for sure. Yeah, I don't know if it was you or my dad that actually gave it to me, but
Does your dad have
not
it?
too bad. Yeah, he's got it.
Oh, he's got it. Okay. Well, then it's probably your, unless I gave it to you and then you in turn gave it to your dad.
Yeah.
And then he got sick before me.
What do you mean nodding your head, Nate? Like, oh yeah, that's definitely it.
Well, you gave it to the to Lane that we had on the last couple episodes of the BS last week.
How the fuck did I give it to Lane? I didn't even meet him. He was on the Zoom thing.
I know, you're giving it to people through Zoom. Same thing with Brandon. You give it to him and his dad and Lane, just spreading it on the internet here.
God, can you imagine if there was a virus that you could spread that way? Holy shit. Think about what the pandemic has done to our world. It has shut it down, right? I mean, especially during the shutdown. And we're not going to have another shutdown. There was a big story the other day. There was like, even Democrats aren't shutting this shit down this time. I was like, well, yeah, that's a good move. I don't care who you are, but you don't need to shut it down. But people need to take personal responsibility and shut themselves down when they get sick. You can't just go out willy-nilly like back in the day. If you've got COVID, you stay home. But now it's trying to decipher the CDC regulations as they continuously and constantly change, tweak, and update. So in Brandon, your case, you've had it for today's Wednesday. You got it. When did you test positive? What day?
Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, so you're on 4 days of testing positive, but what symptoms did you have when you tested positive?
Just a runny nose, a little stuffy.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, you sound like shit. Nate, does he sound worse than what I did when I had it? Because I don't think I sounded like that.
I think you sounded worse.
Oh, me?
At least I can talk still.
Yeah, I talk.
Yeah,
barely
you're all scratchy and you could tell you're clogged. He sounds bad, but yeah, I thought you sounded worse.
Maybe it's just because he's ugly.
Maybe.
Did COVID make you uglier, Brandon? Okay, well, that's good. So, but you didn't have the fatigue or the body aches?
No,
Okay.
none of that.
So from my understanding, the new CDC isolation rules are as follows. You're 10 days isolated if you have the initial symptoms of the fatigue and the tiredness and lethargic and that stuff, the first 3 days symptoms, the hardcore symptoms. If you had those when you tested positive, you're 10 days in jail. If you do not have those symptoms, and you test positive, then you're 5 days isolated. That's from how I understand the new CDC isolation rules. Because you're only contagious 2 days prior and 2 days after. The rest is just better safe than sorry, from what I understand.
Yeah, but why does it matter if you have the different symptoms on whether you're contagious or not?
Yeah, because you could be asymptomatic and still spread it. Didn't we?
Guys,
we learned that, didn't we?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I read. And that's why I'm saying it's very confusing. Like they just need to make it very, very clear, not have options for people. It's either one way or the other. That's it.
Well, I don't like these. I mean, and maybe they're just suggestions, but these are just kind of like ideas. They're not cut and dry. It's not like the COVID germs are whatever the viruses aren't saying, 48 hours, boys, pack it in. We got to stop being contagious. Like there's not just 2 days where it's cut and dry. It has to be that. Everybody's body's different. Some people have COVID for a month. Some people have it for 2 days.
Is this episode not going to be, is this going to be taken down too off YouTube? Because we're talking about Brandon having COVID?
Oh, yeah. I might not want to post that one.
Well, that sucks. Why can't we have it's not like I'm ripping it. You know, I think you should be able to voice your opinion on what you believe. You know, it's not like we're it's not like we're an anti-vaxxer show or something like that. We're just, we're talking about your symptoms and what the CDC says. Now, back to what you were saying, Nate. Everything has been, for the most part, opinion. It's because we've never. This is what I think. Okay, so everybody freaked out, and they still freak out about the vaccination. They're like, "How the hell did you get this fucking thing so quickly?" Well, scientists have been working on this vaccination for years. 10-ish years ago, there were a group of scientists that came up with, I think, part of the vaccination that we use today, or at least the blueprint of it. They had come up with it years and years ago for SARS. And when SARS just kind of dissipated and went away, they shelved the vaccination. So this vaccination is all that work brought back to life because of the SARS virus. The SARS, like if SARS would have stayed around, we would have had a better vaccination by now for COVID. But because SARS went away, that vaccination went away, which is the blueprint of the vaccination we're using now. I think there's a group of scientists and viralists and all those people that know way much more than the Faucis of the world and most of the CDC and the WHO for that matter. But they're like those indie scientists, right? They're the ones that are like, guys, would you please pick up the phone? Check your fucking email. I'm trying, I'm telling you, this is the shit that's happening. Because I read stories all the time of these scientists, and they can get this information out. Now, whether it's true or not, that's a whole other story. But if it is, they're like, dude, I told you 5 years ago that this was coming. I told you 5 years ago we could have fixed it, but nobody listens to nobody, right?
Right.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's just kind of like a general idea. They're trying to make it easy for us to understand, but I don't think you can really say it's a certain number of days or time or whatever. It's just use your best guesstimate.
So the black cloud, the point of the black cloud this week is it's actually the opposite for me. Once I survived COVID, nothing but good things have been happening. Like there's so many good things I don't even want to talk about because some of this stuff seems like I'm bragging, but there's just like amazingly great things have been happening in my life right after I survived COVID. Now, the bad side is I do think that I passed it on to Brandon. Possibly. I tested, when did I see you? Because I tested positive. I started getting symptoms 2-3 days prior to Christmas. How soon to that did I see you?
I think it was the week before Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I gave you Christmas week off. It was our Christmas vacation, paid vacation. So would that make sense, Nate? Could I have given it to him a week prior and him not showing symptoms for 2 weeks after? Yeah, I guess you could. No, you can. Yeah.
No, because you saw him like 20 days ago. That's not it's not gonna hang out in his body for 20 days and all of a sudden get him sick.
Well, I agree. Okay, then I'd rather that be true. I don't want to be the one that gave it to him. But I did.
Unless you gave him something with it on it. I don't know. I don't even know how long it lives on things anymore. But
for Christmas, I gave him a bag of semen. And I don't know what he did with that. I have no idea what you did with that, Brandon. Maybe it was on the shoes that I gave you.
That's what I was thinking. It might have been in the shoes. Might have been the stuffing in the shoes when I pulled it out.
I gave you COVID sneakers. So what are all your symptoms right now? Going on, what was this, day 4, right? Yeah, day 4.
Just sniffling nose, runny nose, a little bit of a cough.
Yeah.
That's about all I got.
Yeah, you taking anything? There's really not much you can take.
No, not really.
Mucinex, I learned that Mucinex good. I know somebody had posted this on the 2 Percenters group, but getting high, it really does, especially at night. It's don't smoke, but the gummies. You don't want to smoke because you're congested, but the gummies are good for a good night's sleep.
Yeah, just keep you sleeping.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
So, and if you really want a badass cocktail, you do gummies, nighttime Mucinex, and Honey Jack.
I might never wake up.
It's you get. I will tell you, Brandon, it was the best night's sleep I think I've had in years. It was better than being under for anesthesia. It was that good. And you feel yourself kind of drain out, like the gummies kick in first, and then you start to feel the nighttime Mucinex starting to wear into you, and then you just the honey jack gets colder and colder, and then warmer and then warmer. And the next thing you know, you're out. It's really an amazing feeling. That's a good one. So try that. So how do you? What's the game plan? You're not going out, right?
No, unless I'm just driving around by myself.
Okay. So do that to keep your sanity.
Yeah, just something to do.
Has Def August gotten it?
I'm pretty sure he has it. He hasn't got tested yet, though. I think he's doing that sometime this week.
He can't hear COVID, so he might not know.
Yeah, he might not have it.
How did you test? Did you go someplace, or did you do the at-home test?
No, we had an at-home test I used.
Okay, so you already had one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
my dad bought a bunch off Amazon.
Yeah, okay, so I did too. You can't find them anywhere in the stores, but I went on to Amazon, and they said it was going to take a couple weeks to get, but I got it in a couple days. How good they are, I don't know. I think everybody kind of questions the...
Is that the one where you put the drops in the top and you stick your stick in, and then you fold it over and you got like a little COVID test lollipop?
I don't know the new ones I bought from Amazon. The ones at the store was you nose bang yourself, you put it in the solution, you shake it all about, you take it out, and then you wait 10 minutes, and then
Do the hokey pokey.
you put your right foot in, and then you take your right foot out, and you shake that all about. And then if you get two stripes, blue and pink, you're positive. But you take two, right? Did you take both of the tests?
I mean, there's only one in a package, the ones I had.
Oh, you got the shitty ones. So
But he was positive, so he doesn't need to take it again,
yeah, but it could have been a false positive. He could just have the flu.
right?
He could just have the flu though.
Oh, that's true.
He could be a
Yeah,
false.
that's
The flu still exists, people. The flu and the
Well,
cold
still don't go out if you have the flu.
still exist. Yeah, but you would know what you have, and if you have the flu or a cold, you can, take whatever over the counter for that kind of stuff. Is what I'm saying. But yeah, I've never seen one with just one. Did the guy also try to sell you speakers from a white van too?
No, I mean, it was like.
Well, did your dad just use the other one?
No, they're like individually packaged. I mean, there was like 5 or 6 in the box, and they're just like in a little box. You pull it out, you got your stick, you put it in your nose, you put 6 drops in the top hole, you stick your stick through the bottom hole and to the top hole, and then you flip the thing over, and it sticks together and it looks like a little COVID popsicle.
Was COVID spelled with a K by any chance?
Well, is it called Buy Next Now? Is that the brand?
I think so, yeah. It's got a little app and everything.
Okay, so yeah, they come in 6 because there's 2 that you could use 3 times. So it's like for 3 people, and each person gets 2.
Oh, well, I figure if there was
Yeah.
2 per test, there'd be 2 in each box.
Well, there is what he's saying. You just use the same stuff, right?
No, there's like
Yeah,
6
no,
in a
there's
big
6
ass
of 'em.
cardboard box.
No.
But then they're also individually wrapped.
Well, they
Just one
give
pieces.
they give you multiple tests for that reason. That I've now learned is that I thought they were for 2 different people originally, but it says on the box, test 2 days later, test again. Whether you're positive or negative, you test twice.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense.
Yeah.
Test later on.
Yeah, so you should probably test. Well, I don't know. I haven't tested since I've been over this now for weeks, but I haven't tested again. It was funny. So I went into a place that's I go for appointments, and I told the lady at the front desk. I said, I was like, sorry, I missed last week, and this and this. I was like, I had COVID, and this and that, and she said, well, can you show us a negative test? And I said, well, I haven't retested yet. She goes, well, can you retest and bring it with you? She goes, do you have a problem with that? And I said, I don't, but that doesn't make any sense because you can test positive for COVID months after testing positive originally, but be asymptomatic and not contagious, but still be carrying the virus. So that doesn't make any sense. What do you do if your job is like you have to be in wherever and you you can't test negative, like to save your life. You just keep testing positive. It's like fucking 2 months later. You're like, all right, guys, I'm not sick. I promise you, I can do handstands. Look at me. Woohoo! I'm all full of energy, but I'm still testing positive. But there's nothing I can do about this. At that point, don't you lie or rig the test? I mean, it's like enough is enough.
Yeah, and have you seen that they have like COVID sniffing dogs now?
Yeah, they had them at the I think at the national championship game. I saw an article that they brought COVID sniffing dogs, big mean fucking German Shepherd dogs, to sniff out COVID. Which I don't know how that works, because you have a stadium, whether at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, you got a stadium that's got 50 to 70,000 people in it. I guarantee 5% of those people have COVID, at least,
especially from Alabama.
So what do you do? And what do you do is if you sign, like, do the tickets say if you have COVID, we can ask you to leave if our dog sniffs you, and you have to believe the dog? I mean, that's a clusterfuck waiting to happen right there.
Well, I'm just thinking, why are we even doing these tests? Like at the airport, just park one of those dogs there and just let us walk through. If he starts biting you, then you can't fly.
Yeah, or put out a book, How to Sniff for COVID for Dummies, and have all of us teach our own dogs how to do it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, or even, instead of having these lines where you go through at the car, the drive-through and everything, just have a dog out there. You just drive by. That'd be great.
Well, somebody will eventually get smart. We're seeing more and more of this, of these labs that are producing just all kinds of tests. You got your pregnancy test, you got your COVID test, you got your flu test, you got your cold test, you got your AIDS test, you got your SAT tests, you got your drug tests, you got all kinds of tests, right? You got your steroid test, you got your alcohol test, you got this, so these lab companies making tons of money putting out all these tests. I think it's great. The colonoscopy test, got the colonoscopy test, you got the cancer test, you got the AIDS test, you got all this kinds of tests. So what you need is somebody to invent kind of like those hand sanitizer dispensers, about that size, and you put it in your fucking house, and like every test, like maybe spit on it or something, and it just has an LED screen that comes up and it says, you have AIDS, or just like a robot to figure out what you have. Because I think eventually that's what we're all going to have. We'll have that built into our house, which is going to totally screw up the medical field. Doctors are going to be pissed, because that's millions and billions of dollars of copays going down the drain. But I'd like a little computer on the wall. I go and I lick it and it goes, you have COVID, or something like that. That's badass, isn't it? What a great idea.
Yeah. Well, they should have done that by now with everything else.
Well, the pandemic is making us realize how fucking twisted our medical system is, and how much they try to rip all of us off. The whole medical procedure in this country is a disaster. And it's so the rich get richer and the rest of us fucking suffer. The pandemic has made us realize enough is enough. And we've got to find more inexpensive ways to get medical care versus having to go to the doctor or do the copay or get on I did a teleconference with a doctor during the pandemic so I could get okayed to go get tested for COVID. The bitch talked to me about everything but my health. Like, she was talking about my backdrop, she was talking about my face, talking about my shirt, she's talking about her kids, It was like she just wanted a friend and she had to be on for 20 minutes in order to meet her quota. It was the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever seen. I was like, I'm not doing this again. She just collected a copay. Now, granted, the copay sometimes comes from the person and sometimes comes from the insurer. Either way, the doctor is getting paid. It's a bunch of bullshit. And there are tricks to that. My buddy who's in the field told me that if you go to your doctor and specifically requests, you have to use the words preventative care, especially for a specialist. I need to go see somebody for preventative care. Anything that's preventative, your insurance should cover, because they don't, what it in turn means they don't want it to get worse where it's going to be more expensive. But if you just go in there and say, hey, can you check this just because it hurts? They're going to charge you full price for it. That's the trick. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
And it seems like, and it's not like the nurses or any, I mean, they're busting their asses, but these are like at the the money level, the corporate level that they're jacking up all these prices.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So anyway, well, Brandon, we hope you get better, buddy. We really do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Again, podcastthebs.com. This is a freebie week of shows. Hope for you non-subscribers you enjoyed. For those that subscribe, thank you very much. And with that being said, for those that do subscribe, all right, this month, and hopefully we'll be able to do it every single month, we are going to do Better Than Radio giveaways. I thought that rhymed. In my head, it rhymed. How did that not rhyme? Better than, I think it's the way you say it. The BS, Better Than Radio giveaways. No, still doesn't work.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll come up with a better name for it. Anyway, Atlanta Grill Company, my friends in Roswell, Georgia, if you're in the area, Upper Hembry Road, they have given us to give to you. And if you're a subscriber, you're automatically entered into the drawing. So I've got all of your information. If you're a subscriber and you go through Spotify, whatever email address that you signed up will be the email address that I'll be getting in contact with whomever at the end of the month. And I'm going to do this every month as much as possible. So this is an Atlanta Grill Company complete rub set. This is an almost $200 value. I use all my rubs that I use when I grill are from Atlanta Grill Company. I am a huge, huge fan of the Himalayan Sherpa and the Argentinian steak. The Georgia butt and rubs is also amazing when you're doing ribs and pork and stuff. It is the best, and they've got new ones that they put in here. I see they've got a pecan and a Toreo. I don't even know what that is. So, but it's a whole. It's 5, 9, 10, 11, 12 different large rubs. So everybody needs rubs in their life, right? They got Coach's lemon pepper. They got garlic and herb. They got everything in there. So we'll post a picture up on our social media. If you are a subscriber, you're a 2%er, you're automatically in the running. We'll pick a winner at the end of the month. If you're listening to the free shows this week, especially Wednesdays, because it's always free, we hope you do subscribe. And if you do, you have a chance to win this. All you got to do is go to podcastthebs.com and sign up right there. All right, boys, got anything else before we go?
Happy Wednesday.
Feel better, Brandon.
Feel better, Brandon. Sniffle, sniffle, snort, snort.